Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Happiness Handmade. My name is Lisa. I am a lover of all things crochet, and in this video, I'm going to prove to you that you do not need a perfect booth setup to have a successful market. Summer market season is here, and if you're like me and you watch a lot of crochet content, then you're seeing all kinds of market recaps, market vlogs, market reels, and it's really fun to see the community out and about and flourishing. But it's also really easy to start to either get a little FOMO or start to question your own market setup. It's so easy to scroll through social media and see all the highlight reels, and it's really easy to start to question yourself, get down on yourself. But in this video, I am going to show you that you do not need a whole lot of booth setup items, and you certainly don't need to wait to ensure that your booth is perfect before you sign up for that market. I have several markets under my belt here in the Kansas City area. I have sold thousands of crochet products at both indoor and outdoor markets, 1-day markets, 3-day markets, anything you can think of. And I have had a lot of iterations of my market setup throughout that whole time. So what I want to do is walk you through my whole booth setup, my market process, anything that I can think of, a little bit of a brain dump I want to be able to provide to you. I want this to be super valuable for you. If this is your first market or your 30th or 300th market, I want you to be able to get at least some information from me about my booth setup and my process that you can take with you to your next market too. And what timing is this? I'm actually preparing for my biggest market ever. It is a 4-day market in just a couple of weeks. I've been working on my inventory, as you can see, but I have a long way to go. So I'm going to take you with me. And while we're going through things, I'm going to chat through what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and a little bit of all like the process behind it. Usually in my market blogs, I keep it pretty high level, and we're definitely going to do more of that market vlog style, definitely like a market prep vlog that I've done before, but we're going to get deeper into the weeds. I'm also going to go over my market process when it comes to inventory, what I make, how much of it I make, how I make decisions based off the season or the type of market that I'm attending. I always get a little over ambitious when it comes to my inventory. I always like to think that I'm going to be able to make more than I end up doing and actually crocheting, but that's okay. We're going to make the process. It's going to be great. We're going to get the inventory that we need, and it's going to be a great 4 days. So come along with me, get your whips, get your hooks, get your fiber fill, get your yarn, and let's get into it. I want to first show you the very scientific way I prepare for my market inventory, and that is writing it down on a piece of paper. I don't have a fancy spreadsheet or a fancy process or a fancy checklist that I do on the computer or I print out or anything like that. I actually do a lot of my pattern designing, writing it down, like not using a computer, but just writing it down and kind of like for some reason it helps my brain a little bit, and it's the same for market. So I really have nothing fancy. I just have a bunch of chicken scratch short form note taking right here on this piece of paper, and it's a good list. I know for me, I tend to kind of get a little bit off track when I prepare for markets. There's so many things that I want to make, and that then doesn't leave me enough time to make some of the other things that I know will be good at the market. It's such a balance because I always say, make what you like, make what you love. And I will stand by that. And you'll see as you look through my inventory, everything on this list, I'm excited to make and I'm happy about making. But it is important to provide a nice range of prices. So, I love making loveys. My loveys are at a higher price point. If I spend all the time making loveys, I'm not going to have enough time to make some of those $10 items like my bees, my nuggets, my chickens, my petsicles, stuff like that. So having a list, even as kind of chicken scratch as this is, it's going to be helpful because it will keep me organize and keep me kind of on the path to where I want to go and where I envision this market to look like. When it comes to what I start with first, I personally like to start with the bigger items first. Now, this is going to vary depending on you as a crocheter and what you're comfortable with doing. I like working on the bigger things first, the things that are going to take me longer to make. Maybe I shouldn't say bigger things, but the things that are going to take me longer to crochet, I start with those on the list first and I work down from there. So, all the big items or all the time intensive items, I give myself enough time to make sure that I can complete them. And then as we get closer to the market, I'm able to knock out those smaller things quickly. I don't know if it's a psychological thing for me that I like to do the crochets that take me longer and then start knocking out the little things. I think for me, I like having the time to focus on the more expensive, bigger items. For me, those take longer to crochet, like my lovies. And so I want to take my time, enjoy the process. And then as we get closer to the market, I'm not as stressed because I'm not having to make any of these lovies or time consuming items. I can just knock out some bees, knock out some nuggets. I'm a lot faster at doing those things. So, psychologically, that helps me. But I would encourage you to think about your process, right? Do you have a process of what you decide that you want to make first? Is it different from mine? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear other people's process and how they get prepared. But the biggest takeaway with this is you don't need anything fancy. You don't need a fancy spreadsheet or a fancy checklist. You make it work for what you need. If you want those things, oh my gosh, that's great. Do that. If you're already doing a system that works for you, keep doing that system. But I just want to show you what my system looks like and that it does not need to be fancy to work. Now, when it comes to how much inventory I need or how much inventory I want to bring, I do as much research as I can about the market that I'm going to. Where is it located? Is it going to be a high traffic area? Is it close to a holiday? What's the expected weather? Which I know is hard, especially for a big market. You have to prepare so far in advance. Is it going to be evening? Is it going to be morning? Is it going to be at a shopping center? Is it going to be in a parking lot? I know those things don't sound like that pertinent, but doing that research ahead of time, getting a good feel for what the market could look like, maybe ask the directors of the market if they have any past data on markets that they've done in the past. And how much traffic did they have? What did that look like? Sometimes bigger directors will put that out there on their social media. Like, we're expecting 30,000 people or 100,000 people or something like that. So be on the lookout for that type of information. That'll definitely help you with your inventory. And that's what I look like. That's what I look at. But at the end of the day, it really is what you have capacity for. I was actually talking to a fellow vendor about this, and she is a sourdough vendor. She makes delicious breads and like all of the yummy sourdough things. And I was asking her about how she prepares for inventory because with, baked goods, those have a shelf life. Like, luckily for us, our crochets, I mean, they last as long as we want them to. They last forever, right? So even if they don't sell at a market, we can take it to the next one. But with bread, it's not quite the same thing. So I was asking her questions about how she handles her inventory. And the way that she likes to handle it is how much money does she want to make, right? If she wants to make X amount of money, she knows that she needs to have this amount of inventory to be able to make that. And I really liked that approach because if you're starting versus if this is like your first market versus your 30th market, maybe your first market, you're not too worried about sales. Maybe you just want to make the booth fee back. Maybe it is your 30th market, but your focus is going to be more about getting your name out there, right? Maybe your focus is sales. And a lot of times when I'm doing these markets, my focus is sales. It's to have fun, it's to get my name out there, but it's for the sales. So, what I do to approach inventory and how much I think I'm going to need, I take a look at how much I want to make, how much I think I can make at this market based off of the research that I did. So, for example, back in February, I did a 3-day market. I spent the most money on a vendor fee than I ever have in my life. I think the vendor fee was over 500, maybe close to 600. So I knew I needed a lot of inventory to make sure that I was profitable and I made enough money to feel really good about the time, energy, and resources to do a market like that. And then I worked backwards from there. So if I wanted to make, let's say I wanted to make 2 times the booth fee or 3 times the booth fee, you look at that number and then you work backwards from there. So with my February market, let's say the booth fee was $600. I don't think it was quite that much, but it was around there. And I wanted again, I'm pretty ambitious, but I wanted to like 3x that market. It was a 3-day market. So I was like, let's see how I can 3x this. And 3x of 600 is 1800. So I knew I needed at least $1,800 worth of crochet inventory for this market. Now, that's if every single thing sold. We know not everything. Maybe you sell out and that's incredible. I've never sold out at a market. I've sold out of items, but I've never sold out of all of my items. I've gotten close, but I've never sold out of all of my items. And so, okay, I need at least 1800 of inventory worth of inventory for this market. But I also want to account for the fact that I'm not going to be selling everything. So then I tack on maybe an extra booth, like the amount of the booth fee, maybe tack on an extra amount of the booth fee. So that's another 600. So now we're going to 4x the booth fee. And that ends up being $2,400 in inventory, right? And I ended up bringing about $3,000 worth of inventory, retail price inventory to that market. And I think I 2x that market. I'll put the numbers up here. But it was a successful market. Like I said, I like to be ambitious and I like to make sure that I'm putting myself in a position that's going to ensure success to the best of my ability. We know that these markets can be hit or miss, but I like to everything that I can control, I try to control. There's so much that's out of our control, but inventory is one thing for the most part that we can control. So that's what I do. I look at the booth fee. I kind of have an idea in my head of what I want to make, and then I work backwards from there. And this is how I like to do it. I've been doing markets for over a year now. So I feel like I'm a little bit more seasoned and kind of know what to expect when I'm coming into markets. Maybe you are going to a market this year that you attended last year, so you have a better idea of what to expect. Maybe you're going into a market that you've never been to before in an area that you've never been to before. That's going to be me for this next 4-day market. Never First off, never done a 4-day market before and never done a market with this director, this events director at the location that they're doing it at, right? So there's a lot of unknowns. I'm doing as much research as I can, but there's still a lot of unknowns. So trying to like work through your inventory definitely gives me just a better understanding of what I need to do. And it gives me a goal to shoot towards. So I'm not just, kind of flying by the seat of my pants and crocheting. And you can absolutely do that. It really is what makes you happy as well, right? If you want to fly off the seat of your pants, do it. Absolutely. If you just want to make what you love and put it out there and you're not too worried about anything, oh my gosh, I love that. Like, please do that. But I'm just sharing what has worked for me and the process that has made me successful at these markets for the past year. Hopefully that made sense. So, as far as what I have gotten started on is, like I said, my lovies. My lovies take me the longest to crochet. So, that's what I have started on first. So, let me show you some of the crochets that I've already made. Now, you'll notice these guys aren't completely done. Most of them are all done. They just need embroidered eyes. You guys, how stinking cute is this watermelon giraffe? I'm obsessed. I have for months wanted to make a watermelon giraffe, but I like had the idea like in the fall of last year. And so I've been waiting to make one and I love how he turned out. He's so cute. Anyway, we got all kinds of lovies. I definitely want to make more. I have duplicates back there as well. And then I love making hoodie bears. I'll put all the designers in the description below. So the giraffes and cows are by BK Crochet and the hoodie bears are by Hooks and Nooks. So I'll put all of my patterns, designers in the description below. You're gonna see a lot of my own patterns. I love highlighting my own patterns at my markets. There's no better feeling than selling a plushie that was your own design that you also made on your own. I just absolutely love that. It lights me up. So we'll be seeing a lot of Birthstone Buddies. We'll be seeing a lot of Bellas. We'll be seeing a lot of Angelas and Kaylas, right? We're going to be seeing a lot of that. But the Loveys, I don't have any Lovey patterns. So I work with, or I use other pattern designers. And then I just love these hoodie bears, but they do take me a little bit longer to make. Again, no embroidered eyes, no faces. I got to add faces to all of these guys. I'm gonna keep knocking out loveys. So that's gonna be the focus. I want to make a lot more. My inventory is really low, by the way. And so we're just gonna be crocheting a lot the next couple of weeks. But I do have to head out for a crochet class. I have a crochet class over at the Emerald U. We have 6 people signed up, which I'm really excited about. We're making book covers. I do have a free tutorial on how to make this book cover in my my absolute beginner friendly tutorial playlist. So if you want to make one yourself, absolutely check out that free tutorial. But I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna have this class, and then I will check back in with you later tonight and let you know if I've made any progress or what I've made or what I'm doing. All right, guys, in true Happiness Handmade fashion, you know that it's a couple days later and I'm just now giving you an update, but I've decided to lay everything out that I have right now just so I can get a really good understanding of current inventory and what else I need to work on. So look at all of these loveys, you guys. I'm so happy with the amount of loveys that I have right now. That's wild. I don't think I've ever seen that many loveys before. I've never had this type of inventory of loveys. So that feels really good. Of course, I want to make more, but I did decide to pivot. You'll see that I still need to make the eyes, embroider the eyes on a lot of those, but they are the crocheting is done. And then you see, I did have to pivot from loveys and I worked on a few Bella ballerinas. Look how pretty those girls are. Oh, I just love those color combos and their long legs. I just love this pattern so much. So I made a couple Bellas. And then you see the 2 extra hoodie bears. I already had 2 hoodie bears. I made 2 more. I feel really good about that stock. I usually bring 1 or 2 hoodie bears per market. So this is about 1 per day for this 4-day market. So that feels really good. And then you guys, oh, over here, I have some hanging plants. I have 3 hanging plants. Would love to make 1 or 2 more of those. This is all I have left of like $5 to $10 range items, you guys. I have 3 things. So really I'm going to need to pivot next week to be making more of those $5 to $10 stuff. So think nuggets, chickens, those types of things, right? Keychains, right? All that kind of fun stuff. But do you guys want to see my next pattern? If you follow me on Instagram, you already know. This is my new pattern right here. This is Bailey, the mini ballerina. I have made a ton of these little Baileys for my next market. And I also used all of these to take a bunch of pictures, to get the pattern ready and get it out to my testers and everything like that. But let me show you. And you might have seen this on Instagram, but I made like little minis for each of the bigger Bellas. Look at the size difference, you guys. Aren't those just the cutest things? Little Bailey is so sweet, and she takes far less time to make. So she's a great market make. It gives you a lot of detail, but it still doesn't take you a whole lot of time. So I feel like she's a great market make. I've been making a ton of these Baileys, and I even have a couple more on my hook that I'd love to get done. I also I made 2 for my friend. She has 2 daughters. One daughter's favorite color is pink. The other's favorite color is purple. I'm going to be seeing her this weekend, so I had to make some for her sweet daughters. Oh, I cannot wait to give them to them. But yes, that is my Bailey pattern. I will link my patterns in the description below. I'm also doing a bundle for both Bailey and Bella. So if you don't have either pattern and you want to save a little bit of money, then I definitely encourage you to go the bundle route so you can get both patterns at a little bit more of a discount. All right, I am now going to, like I said, I need to pivot to those smaller items. So I think tonight I will be working on chickens, nuggets, and maybe some capybaras too. So I'll check in with you guys. Hey guys, so I just got done with my errands. I really wanted to take some video of me out and about, but it did not happen that way. So I am home now, but I want to show you what I just got, you guys. So this is a perfect example of not needing all of the fancy things for a market and not having to spend a lot on your booth setup, okay? So I'm a big Facebook Marketplace fan when it comes to finding items for your booth setup really cheap. I like to look for like wedding decor. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but if you type in like vintage wedding decor or rustic wedding decor, or let's say you're looking for like bright colors, so like bright, bold wedding decor, a lot of people will sell their no longer needed wedding decor on Facebook Marketplace for really cheap. This is where I've gotten a ton of my crates. This is where I've gotten wooden like slices of wood like for centerpieces. So like slices of wood, I can put crochets on there. And today, you guys, I feel like I hit the jackpot. When it is so true when people say one man's trash is another man's treasure. That is how I feel today. You guys, look what I got on Facebook Marketplace. Is this not the cutest little chair you've ever seen? I got it for $10 on Facebook Marketplace. I wanted to kind of see like if this chair, like how much it went other places. And I've only looked at Etsy so far. So, you know, Etsy's Etsy. It's going to be a little bit of a higher price point. But the cheapest I saw this same chair was, I think, $18. And then you have to account for shipping and all of that stuff. This was just $10. I paid her cash and I cannot wait to use it. I think it's so cute. I'm going to put a little plushie right on there, one of my crochets, and it's going to give my booth height. And it's also going to continue with like that wooden vintage feel that I'm personally trying to go for. But this is a great example that you don't have to break the bank to find really great market things and market finds that you want for your booth. So I'm so excited to use this. All right, friends, we are back. It's a couple days later and I want to show you my progress. So here are all my loveys. I'm almost done with all of the embroidered eyes. I just have 3 more giraffes to add embroidered eyes to, and then the loveys will be good to go for the time being. I think I have a good amount of Bella ballerinas and Bailey ballerinas, both Bella and Bailey. I'd love to make more Bellas, but I'm pivoting. We're going to keep it moving, and if I have time to make more, I will. Added the eyes and the face to the hoodie bears. Look at those cute little guys back there. Haven't made any hanging plants quite yet. They look like a total mess of a pile, but they're not tangled or anything, even though it looks like it. And then made some progress over here on our $5 to $10 items. So I got 6 nuggets completely done, as well as, let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8 capybaras, which feels really good. I think tonight I'm going to be working on bees, and then I'm actually going to be traveling. I'm headed out of town tomorrow. I'm going to be packing some yarn because maybe like in the evenings when it's super chill, I'll be able to do some crocheting, but I'm not expecting to get a whole lot done while I'm traveling. So gonna knock out as much as I can tonight. Oh, one more thing that I want to show you. So here is the amount of keychains that I had left after my last market. And here are all the keychains I have now. Look at these, you guys. I made a ton of keychains. I have cute little bees. Look at these sweet little bees. I had a little bit of this yarn left. And so I made little capybara keychains. Look how cute those are. I made two, one bigger, one smaller. I think those were so fun. And then a couple of heart keychains and watermelon keychains. So that feels really good. I sell my keychains for $6, so it's a pretty good price point. So excited to have those all done. And then also I made a couple of bandanas. I got this yarn from Bernat Blanket from Yarn Inspirations. They sent me this Bernat Harmony and it's so pretty. I love the colors so much. I'll put my affiliate link in the description in case you want to grab some of your own Harmony yarn, but it's great for like a continuous project because it's all like color phasing yarn. So you can just do one project and it gives you all of these different colors, which is so fun. So I'm gonna bring these bandanas. And then I had just like these two little tulips left, so I'm bringing everything. I'm bringing all of my inventory as much as I can. But I am actually now headed over to Michael's because I just got a text message from Michael's today saying that one of my vouchers is going to expire. So you know what that means? We're taking a trip to Michael's.
I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn, but I won't be done when morning comes. Doing it all night, all summer. Gonna spend it like no other. It was a crush, but I couldn't get enough. It was a rush, but I gave it up. It was a crush. Now I might have wanna said too much, but that's all it was, so I gave it up. I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn, but I won't be done when morning comes. Doing it all night, all summer. Gonna spend it like no other. It was a crush. I kept saying I'ma stay in touch, but that thing went bust, so I gave it up. Ooh, no tricks, no bluff. I'm just better off without them cups. Yeah, the sun won't set on us. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. When low, when high, still waters run dry. Gotta get back in the groove. I ain't never heard it. When low, when high, what matters is enough. I'm getting right back in the mood. I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the dawn, but I won't be done when morning comes. Doing it all night, all summer. Gonna spend it like no other. Now I found another crush. The lush life giving me a rush. Had one chance to make me blush. Second time is one to let. Now I found another crush. The lush life giving me a rush. Had one chance to make me blush. Second time is one to let. I live my day as if it was the last. Live my day as if there was no past. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Yeah, I'ma dance my heart out till the
All right, guys, the skein is secured. Less than $6 for this whole skein of Bernat. I'm in love with this color. I think it's so pretty. I was trying to think. I knew I wanted a pink, but I wasn't sure what kind of pink. And then I saw this color and I thought I can do a super cute pink dinosaur lovey, or one of my birthstone buddies, or even one of my birthstone elephants in this beautiful pink. I think that would be so fun. And it's nice and soft, which I love. Okay, I am glad I went too because my voucher expires when I'm traveling, like while I'm going to be gone. So I'm really, really glad that I took the time to go and get a good deal. But I'm going to be traveling for a couple of days and then I will be back. We will meet back up at the Crochet Corner and I will break down all of my booth setup and show you again that you do not need the perfect booth to have a successful market. So I will see you in a couple of days. All right, we are back from our trip. I have everything tagged. Let me show you some of the items that I got done last night and during the trip as well. So we have a lot more $10 to $15 items right over here. I showed you my capybaras, but I've also gotten some dinos plushies done and some maple chickens. I actually do the maple chickens, but I do them a little bit smaller. And I actually surface crochet the red comb onto the chickens. So I do it slightly different than the pattern, but of course, giving credit, all credit to Oak and Marlowe. The beautiful maple chickens are a staple at any market. And then over my trip, I also got this guy complete. So this is one of my birthstone elephants. She is so cute. I love her so much. So she is done as well. So I'm going to pivot now, you guys. I want to talk a little bit more about my booth setup because the goal of this video is to show you that you do not need a perfect booth setup to be successful. So I want to go through all of my booth items and kind of break down where I found them, how much money I spent on them, and how you can find your own. All right, so here is a good example of the types of items that I use today for my setup. Now, I'm going to first show you a picture of my very first market. So as you can see in this first market, all I have is one table, a tablecloth, and a banner. And that's really it. I don't really have my crochet sitting in anything. It was a fall market and I had some Halloween stuff. So I used a candy bowl that we already had for this market, but nothing fancy. And then after that market, I started adding a little bit more. So let me show you the second market that I did. So that first market was in the fall. This one was in the spring. And you can see that I added a few more items, some more of like the wood crates and some pegboards. And then as you move forward, you can see I'm getting more and more things. My display is growing. I'm trying out new things. I'm finding my rhythm. I'm finding my groove. I'm finding my style. And here we are today. This is one of my last market. This is my most recent market that I did. And as you can see, it has changed a lot since that first market. So I wanted to show you guys that to show you that you don't have to start with all of the crazy setup, right? If you look at my first market, I started with not a whole lot and I still made the booth fee and I still made, I was in the green for that market. Not by a lot, but I still did it. And then I kept continuing to grow and grow and grow from that first experience. Also, I was able to grow in my sales too. So for my first market, I only invested in a table and a tablecloth and my display. Or I'm sorry, my banner. And that's it. And then as my business continued to grow, I would start using the money that I made from booths and Etsy and custom orders, and I would start buying things for my market. So it was a slow progression. I didn't start with all of the things that you see in that last picture there. I really started with just very, very, very few things and have grown since then. So fast forward to this upcoming market, I wanted to show you kind of an example of a lot of the items that I'm using. Now, everything that you see here, 95% of it was found on Facebook Marketplace. I'm a big Facebook Marketplace fan. All the baskets that you see and that cute little chair, the little tiny table in the back, all of that was from Facebook Marketplace. So think way, 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 way cheaper than if I was going like retail. And then something else I wanted to show you guys is take a look at my like signage. I made these. So I just literally printed out these $12, $10, $5 each signs off of just like regular printer paper. I already had some cardboard and I cut out and glued the printer paper onto the cardboard. That is all these are. I did not buy anything fancy for these, like literally just kind of DIY'd it, right? These tags that I have, I did get from Vistaprint, but if you buy in bulk, then you can get a pretty good deal on Vistaprint tags. And I know a lot of crocheters like LA Crochet and Ollie's Crochet, you can get great discounts through their affiliate links. So Vistaprint is really nice, but I did not start with these tags at the beginning, right? I didn't have any tags at all. But now I have tags and it's really, really fun. And then these are some other signs that I've added since my first market. I now have a really easy way to get to my Venmo. I also have a number for custom inquiries. If someone's kind of running off, they can just, take down my phone number. And then for Venmo, for whatever reason, in case my Venmo is acting up or I'm with another customer or something like that, I can easily point to my Venmo QR code and someone can use it. This I also got from Vistaprint. It's just another reminder of that I do custom orders, and that I ordered the same time that I ordered my tags. And this has been with me for a while. And what's nice is when you invest in those signs, you use them over and over again. Same with all of these displays. You can really look at it as an investment in your business, especially if you're looking to do markets, multiple markets throughout the year. You can really look at all of this as an investment. Something that I wanted to bring up as well that is not in, that I don't use them anymore, but for recent markets, you guys, I would go into my kitchen and I would find things that I can use from my kitchen as well. So I have this really cute wooden heart-shaped cutting board. I've totally used that for markets. I have a dinner tray that was painted. I painted it white forever ago, and I use that for my markets as well. I use all different types of stuff like that, you guys. And then, like I said, past wedding decor. I told you it's a great place to look for stuff online, on Facebook Marketplace. Look up wedding decor. I use some of my own wedding decor, some stuff from my wedding. So get creative. It does not have to be anything fancy. Use what you have, use what works, and build from there. All right, friends, I am out running errands, so I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful. I hope it really gave you some encouragement in letting you know that you do not need to have everything perfect. You do not need to have everything all lined up in a pretty little bow. You just need to start. You just need to get started, get going, put yourself out there. Please let me know in the comments if this was helpful. If you have any advice to share with others, I think that would be amazing to share in the comments as well. Please remember that I do have memberships. If you want to be part of either the Sprinkle Circle or the Sprinkle Insider, where you get more behind the scenes and more perks of Happiness Handmade, then check out my YouTube memberships. Also, if you guys don't follow Sammy Snuggles, you need to go give her a follow. She does a signature designer series every month, and I am actually the designer for July. So if you're wanting discounts on my patterns, or if you're wanting, more access into what patterns I have coming up next the rest of the summer, then please follow Sammy, check out her designer series, and follow along there. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the recap next week.